So, Stacy, tell us at this level, when we say be ready, let's unpack what that means to the executive in search. What does being ready and being prepared to seize your next opportunity really come down to?
First, what I find is not everybody is aware of what's in that world of being ready. For instance, I spoke with a CEO this morning who's been at the same organization for 20 years and never did anything with LinkedIn and had a small network and didn't even understand the importance of LinkedIn in a job search, which is just as important as your resume and any other part of your collateral. So knowing that as an example, that your LinkedIn profile needs to be optimized, current, there's a science behind it. Why wouldn't anybody want to be getting calls for great opportunities, even if you're not looking? And that's what you get when you have an optimized LinkedIn profile. So that's one example, but it permeates through being ready with your resume. But to take one step back, before you could create a great LinkedIn profile or before you could create a great resume, it's really knowing your personal value.
Mm.
What is your value proposition? What makes you different? What do you make happen in companies? All of you out there, you're in the top echelon of an organization. You're in senior strategic leadership positions. You're not in transactional roles, most of you. And when you're in that top role, it's not about what you know anymore because they know you know how to run a P&L and they're not asking you transactional things. You need to know, what problems do you solve in organizations? What do you make happen? Why is somebody going to want to pay you all the money that you're commanding? So being ready starts off with, excuse me, understanding your story, your brand, your value proposition.
Mm.
That would be the first step. And most people cannot do that on their own. I know, Tony, you're familiar. We have a saying, you can't read the label if you're inside of the bottle.
Mm.
And almost everybody I meet with, when I pose these questions to them, they have no idea why they're successful because, quite frankly, when you're successful, many times you don't need to know this. You get networked, you get recruited, you're in the same job for 20 years. But at this stage, if you're in a position where you're really going to open up a job search and need to change, it is absolutely critical you understand why you're different from everybody else because now you're competing against the cream of the crop in your field. Others who've got the same pages of resumes with just as many achievements and accomplishments. And now it's time that you need to differentiate yourself and understand your value. So that's really where it starts, Tony. And then all the other pieces become reflective of that. Then your LinkedIn has to show who you are and why you're different from the other. If I'm a recruiter and I'm doing a search and I'm looking at 1,000 profiles, yours better jump out at me. Yours better look different. Yours better tell me why I should reach out to you. And then it needs to be reflected in a resume. And then, just as importantly, you have to know how to talk the talk. So when somebody says to you, what do you do? You're not just reading a job description. So there's a lot of components that everybody could do now, whether or not you're looking. And I say to folks all the time, why not have a compelling LinkedIn profile even when you're not looking? Who doesn't want to know about great opportunities at any time? So I gave you a lot there, Tony, but
Mm.
that's really what it comes down to. You
And
need now more than ever to separate yourself out.